For although we hold that the word of God alone lies beyond the sphere of our judgment, and that fathers and councils are of authority only insofar as they accord with the rule of the word, we still give to councils and fathers such rank and honor as it is meet for them to hold under Christ. Do we need a clearer statement of belief from a reformer on the authority of the fathers and the councils? Is there any? Do we need a little earlier? Do we need to find something in Luther? This is 22 years after the Reformation sort of begins to take off. I'll read this again. You see here a defense of Sola Scriptura and a recognition of the authority of church teaching, hand in hand in the same sentence. I'll read it again. For although we hold that the word of God alone lies beyond the sphere of our judgment, and that fathers and councils are of authority only insofar as they accord with the rule of the word, we still give to councils and fathers such rank and honor as it is meet for them to hold under Christ. But the most serious charge of all is that we have attempted to dismember the spouse of Christ. Were that true, both you and the whole world might well regard us as desperate. But I will not admit the charge unless you make out that the spouse of Christ is dismembered by those who desire to present her as a chaste virgin to Christ, who are animated by a degree of holy zeal to preserve her spotless for Christ, who, seeing her polluted by base seducers, recall her to conjugal fidelity, who unhesitatingly wage war against all the adulterers, whom they detect lying snares for her chastity. And what but this have we done? Had not your faction of a church attempted, nay, violated her chastity by strange doctrines? You see, Calvin has turned the accusation by Sadoleto around and said, you're the ones who have presented adulterated doctrine and have corrupted the church. That's Calvin's accusation. So the question here is, who is the one that has brought in false doctrine? It's an accusation made by both sides. And so this is something that we have to think about with our own cognitive faculties to evaluate. We can't just turn off our brains and say, we'll let the magisterium decide. When you do that, you're already giving your consent to a group that's allegedly incapable of error. So how would you know if they have an error or not? You make yourself susceptible to circular reasoning when you do this, because you can't question the magisterium. So you're stuck in this loop that if you believe the magisterium is incapable of error, and someone says, well, here's an error, well, then you're going to find yourself disagreeing with that because the magisterium is incapable of error. No, that's not an error. You're going to conclude that's not an error because the magisterium is incapable of error. This is just classic circular reasoning. But God doesn't call us to be irrational or illogical, so we should reject circular reasoning.